You're sitting alone. The room is quiet, and suddenly, without knowing why, you turn around. Someone was looking at you. You didn't hear them move. You didn't catch them in the corner of your eye. But some part of you knew, before you could explain how, that a pair of eyes had landed on the back of your neck. You felt this before. In a cafe, on a train, walking down an empty street at night. That prickle, that pull. The quiet certainty that you are not as alone as you thought. Most people call it a sixth sense, something mystical, proof that we can feel invisible energy in a room. But the real answer is far stranger than that. Because that feeling isn't magic. It's a machine. A machine older than language, older than fire, older than the human face itself. It has been running quietly inside your skull for millions of years, scanning every shadow, every window, every crowd, for one specific thing: eyes. Your brain has a dedicated system whose entire job is to answer a single question. Is something looking at me right now? And it never turns off. Not when you sleep, not when you feel safe, not for 1 second of your entire life. To understand why, you have to go back, way back, to a time before you were human at all. Picture your distant ancestor. Small, soft, slow, standing in tall grass on an open plain, surrounded by things that wanted to eat it. In that world, a pair of eyes locking onto you was not a social awkwardness. It was a countdown. The lion in the grass, the snake in the branch, the rival waiting at the edge of the firelight. Eyes meant attention. Attention meant intent. And intent, more often than not, meant death. So evolution built a shortcut. Deep in the base of your brain sits a small structure called the superior colliculus. It's ancient. You share a version of it with fish, with lizards, with creatures that existed long before mammals walked the earth. And it has a special talent. It can process the shape of eyes and faces before the thinking part of your brain even knows they're there. This is the part people never believe. The information doesn't wait for your conscious mind. It takes a faster road. When a pattern that looks like eyes enters your vision, the signal splits. One copy travels the slow route up to the visual cortex, where you calmly recognize a face and decide what to do. But another copy takes a shortcut straight to a small almond-shaped alarm bell called the amygdala. And the amygdala doesn't wait for permission. It reacts first and explains later. That's the prickle on your neck. That's the turn of your head before you've decided to turn it. Your body is already responding to a threat your conscious mind hasn't even met yet. How do we know this pathway is real? Because of what happens when it breaks. There is a woman known in scientific papers only as patient SM. A rare condition destroyed her amygdala on both sides of her brain. And something remarkable happened. She stopped feeling fear. Not just of eyes, but of snakes, of spiders, of being threatened at knife point. Neuroscientist Ralph Adolphs studied her for years. He found that when she looked at faces, she didn't automatically look at the eyes the way you and I do. The ancient alarm that pulls your gaze toward another person's stare was simply gone. Her mind still worked. Her intelligence was intact. But the machine that whispers someone is watching had been switched off. And without it, she walked through a dangerous world, strangely unafraid. You have that machine, and it is extraordinarily sensitive. But here's where it gets stranger. Because to feel watched, you first have to be able to tell where someone is looking. And the tool your ancestors used to do that is hiding in plain sight. It's in your eyes right now. Look at another person's eye. Really look. You'll notice something you've seen your whole life and never questioned. The white part. The bright pale background around the colored circle of the iris. That white is called the sclera. And it is one of the strangest features of the entire human body, because almost no other animal has it. Two Japanese researchers, Hiromi Kobayashi and Shiro Koshima, studied the eyes of nearly 90 different primate species, gorillas, chimps, baboons, and they found something no one expected. In almost every other primate, the visible part of the eye is dark, brown, camouflaged, the same color as the iris, so you cannot easily tell where the animal is looking. Their gaze is a secret, a closed door. Only humans have loud, pale, high-contrast whites that broadcast the exact direction of our gaze to anyone nearby. Think about what that means. Your ancestors evolved eyes that give away where they're looking. In a dangerous world, that sounds like a terrible idea. Why would evolution advertise your attention to your enemies? The answer is that your ancestors weren't only surrounded by enemies, they were surrounded by each other. And for a cooperative animal, a visible gaze is not a weakness, it's a superpower. A mother could follow her child's eyes to see the danger they spotted. A hunter could signal without a sound, just a glance toward the prey. A whole group could share attention silently, pointing with nothing but their eyes. But the same white sclera that lets you cooperate has a side effect. It makes human gaze incredibly easy to detect, even from the corner of your eye, even in a crowd, even in the dark. You are built to notice instantly when another set of eyes turns towards you, so your brain leans into that, hard. Here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. When your brain is uncertain, when the light is dim, or the face is far away, or the eyes are only half visible, it does not guess randomly. It has a default. And that default is this: assume you are being watched. Two vision scientists, Colin Clifford and Isabelle Marichal, proved this in a clever experiment. They showed people faces where the direction of gaze was genuinely ambiguous, impossible to read for certain, and when people couldn't tell, they didn't say they don't know. Overwhelmingly, they reported that the eyes were looking directly at them. The brain fills the silence with a single answer: someone is staring at you. Why would evolution build such a paranoid machine? Why default to being watched? Because of a brutal piece of arithmetic. Imagine there really is a predator in the grass, and you feel nothing. That mistake costs you your life. Now imagine there's nothing there, but you feel watched and turn around anyway. That mistake costs you 2 seconds and a little embarrassment. Those two errors are not equal. One is fatal. One is free. And across millions of years, the ancestors who assumed the worst and turned to check were the ones who survived to have children. The calm ones, the ones who didn't bother to look, quietly vanished from the story. You are descended from the paranoid ones. Every single one of your ancestors, without exception, was alert enough to survive. You inherited their twitchy, oversensitive, better safe than sorry alarm system. And it is still firing today in a world it was never designed for. Because think about where you actually live now. Your ancestors might have encountered a few dozen faces in an entire lifetime. You pass a few dozen before you finish your morning coffee. You ride in metal boxes packed with strangers whose eyes flick past you 100 times an hour. You walk beneath cameras on every corner. You carry a glass rectangle that shows you thousands of faces a day, all seeming to look straight out at you. Your gaze detection system was built for a world of tens. You've dropped it into a world of millions. So it fires. Constantly. On the train, when a stranger's reflection seems to catch your eye in the window. In a meeting, when you feel the weight of a room and your face goes hot. Online, where you sense an invisible audience judging every word, even when no one is truly there. That old machine can't tell the difference between a predator in the grass and a stranger scrolling past your photo. To your brain, an eye is an eye. Attention is attention. And attention, it still believes, could mean death. This is why stage fright can feel like genuine terror. Why a crowd's eyes can make your heart pound as if you were prey. Why you feel that prickle in an empty room and spin around to find no one there. Your alarm isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just running in a world that overwhelms it 1,000 times a day. And maybe that reframes the feeling entirely. The next time you sense unseen eyes on the back of your neck, you're not being haunted. You're not imagining things. You're feeling the faint pull of an instinct that kept your ancestors alive on the open plains. A whisper passed down through 10,000 generations, still trying, faithfully, to protect you. It has never once stopped watching for the thing that watches you. So the next time you're sitting alone and the room is quiet and something makes you turn around, remember what's really happening. You are not alone. You never were. Because the oldest part of you has been standing guard this whole time, eyes open in the dark, waiting to feel the one thing your ancestors feared most. Another pair of eyes, finding yours.